Hello, I'm Charlie Blur-Oliphant, and I'd like to thank you for joining the Ardblair Stones YouTube channel. Those of you who've been watching the previous videos will know this is the fourth instalment. In the last and the third one, which I called First Man, we talked about the first man to load all 9 of the Ardblair Stones. Probably shouldn't say too much about that in case you haven't seen that episode. But I did say that this gentleman represented Scotland. I was thinking about it, and he actually represented Great Britain. So obviously, yeah, a high caliber athlete, but I will not delve on that. And this episode is going to be called First Woman. So on this episode, I'm going to chart the progress since 2013, the first event for the Ardblair Stones, up till 2019, and we're going to discover the journey it took and who has the current maximum number of stones loaded. Now I should emphasize that this isn't going to be this person got this time and that person got that time, and this is more the first person to get the stone. So there may be faster times, and I just think it's going to be a bit dull if I start sitting here talking numbers and people and everything. So this specifically is going to be the first person to ever successfully load that stone. And to those of you who are not familiar with the Ardblair Stones, there's 9 stones, and as I say, the last episode we talked about the first man to load all 9. Now I'm going to talk about the women's side of things. So, as I said earlier, the Ardblair Stones started in first event 2013. Now, it was, as I've said again in a previous episode, I was quite overwhelmed by how many women wanted to participate in the Ardblair Stones and how competitive they were. So there was no shortage of women wanting to have a shot. They were in there, I guess, and their kids and their husbands and boyfriends and just everybody. Everybody was kind of taken by this, and it was all very good and popular and successful. So it seemed to be in the early stages that 4 stones was pretty much was a good effort. It was a good effort, and you were likely to win in the early years. If you successfully loaded the 4th stone in a decent time. So it became not to be a particular surprise for the 4th stone to be loaded after a while, and soon focus started to shift to the 5th stone, which a woman had never lifted. And the 5th stone, it was 2016, so we're talking 3 years that it took for the 5th stone to be lifted, which is quite a long time, particularly if you've got several events every year over the course of 3 years, and you're kind of hoping that a lady's going to lift this 5th stone. Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And so what happened? The circumstances there, which is obviously a big deal, was that I was doing an event. Well, the Ardblair Stones were doing an event at the Blairgowrie Rugby and Ale Festival. And we were invited to be there. And on this occasion, I hadn't actually invited anybody specifically to come and have a shot at the stones. There was lots of people there. I mean, that wasn't an issue, but I didn't know if there were any sort of like professionals going to be arriving in the wings kind of thing. I mean, you don't always know if that's going to happen or not. So anyway, things were kind of working as normal, and it was fine, and people were having a shot, and then sort of mid-afternoon, a car turned up, and in it was Kenny Sim and his wife Elizabeth. I think probably their son Hugo was there as well. I think he had been there, yeah, and a lady called Mary Anderson, and I should have known this, but I guess I wasn't sort of sufficiently au fait with strong women in Scotland at that time to know that Mary was actually the current Scotland's strongest woman. So there we had Kenny Sim, again a top level athlete, representing Scotland. You know, he'd been on TV several times, highly regarded in the field of strength, particularly strongman, which is his thing. And so there they were. This car turned up of these athletes, if you like, and they came out of the blue. I hadn't been expecting them, and they came over and introduced themselves. And I kind of got a sense they were quite excited to take on the Stones. So this was probably the first time that I'd seen high caliber athletes, if you like, had kind of gone out of their way to go to a Stones event specifically, and they were quite excited about it. They were quite animated, which is obviously great, you know, because something must be going right with the Ardblair Stones to get these guys and girls sort of coming along to have a shot. So Mary, well, basically, I was very excited. You know, everybody was sort of pumped up and everything. Scotland's Strongest Woman's about to try and attempt to lift the 5th stone, and I remember running around there was like a commentary bit for the rugby, and I remember trying to get on stage and grab microphones and things because I just wanted people to realise what was going on, because this was quite a significant thing. You know, this was going to be a bit of history being made, and so yeah, I do remember. I didn't get in the way particularly, but there was sort of rugby going on at the same time, and I was all for promoting this stone run, which I had high expectations for. So the stone run went ahead. Needless to say, Mary, she got the 5th stone. She did a tremendous job, and I believe actually she did it twice on that day. Probably because I suspect she would have been going for a faster time, but I mean it was quite respectable how she did. Another actually interesting thing I should say, that at that time Kenny and Mary and indeed Elizabeth, Lizzie, Kenny's wife, were all training at the same gym in Lothian, Edinburgh. I can't remember if it was east or west, possibly East Lothian, I think. Anyway, they had a gym called No Limits, which they kind of shared between them, and tragically, shortly after that that incident, there was a fire, and the gym was obliterated, and a lot of equipment was destroyed, which is luckily nobody was injured, which is obviously the main thing. But anyway, it was an unfortunate thing that happened after that. So No Limits gym kind of ceased to exist shortly after that, which was a real shame, because I know it was well thought of, and there was some good facilities. And anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. So anyway, Mary got the 5th stone. History was made on that day. She did really well. I'm just wondering if I've got a record of her time. Yeah, she did it in 18.55 seconds, which is quite reasonable. A good time for her to do that. So anyway, after that, it became a question of trying to get that 5th stone faster and faster. And yeah, that did happen, but I'm not delving on who did the 5th stone at this stage at a faster time. Something pretty amazing happened in 2019. Is 3 years after Mary's stone run. Yeah, 6 years after the actual start of the Ardblair Stones, 6 years, we saw another stone being loaded by the women. There's a lady called Donna Moore, and she needs no introduction. She's won World's Strongest Woman 3 times now, I think. And she's won the Arnold several times. But anyway, World's Strongest Woman 3 times. Got loads of titles. And she had been doing a seminar at Hostile Strength and Conditioning Gym, which is the guy called Martin Lennox runs it. Anyway, Donna was doing a seminar there, and along with her coach. And so I'd done the Ardblair Stones had done an event at Hostile Strength and Conditioning Gym, and I guess I don't know if Martin had mentioned it or how it happened, but I know that Donna was quite keen to attempt the Ardblair Stones and to take the women's record, and yeah, it was quite extraordinary because she she did the 5th, and then she did the 6th, and then she did the 7th. So now the 7th stone is 118 kilograms, which is 260 pounds. Now that might not necessarily seem like much, but when you're thinking a no tacky lift, and it's a tremendous feat of strength. I mean, so the record, the stone numbers went from 5th to 7th. Amazing. So, in fact, later on that year, she even got a faster time. She improved her time, and yeah. So, Donna Moore, incredible performance, and incredible for Mary Anderson to be the first person to lift 5 stones. So they had Scotland's strongest woman at the time lifting the 5, 3 times world's strongest woman lifting the 7th, 6 years from the inception of the Ardblair Stones, 3 years after Mary did the 5. So, okay, so pretty much as far as the women go, Donna, I mean, she holds the record. I mean, I wasn't going to say who has the men's record yet. That I thought that'd be another video. I can talk about that and how the times kind of got faster and everything. But as far as Donna's concerned, she so leaps ahead of everybody else. And not only has she got the 7th stone, she has the record anyway. So yeah, it all happened at the same time. It was quite good because I was at the International Highland Games Stones of Strength competition in Norway. In fact, I referred to that in one of my previous episodes, if you like, videos. And I saw Donna there breaking the world record for the Atlas stone. And I was about 3 feet away from her. I've got it filmed, and she is an extraordinarily a wonderful lady, very strong, a brilliant ambassador. I think she was born in Scotland originally. I think she lives in Yorkshire now, but I can't sing her praises enough. And I'm obviously very appreciative that she turned up to the event. So yeah, that's pretty much sort of covered the ladies up to that point. Obviously, there's been some tremendous speedy runs and everything, and I have seen other people, a lady called Pavlina get the 6th stone, sort of clear it off the ground. But yeah, that pretty much kind of sums up the women, how things stand at the moment. Obviously, there's room for improvement, because now it's come down to a numbers game of trying to get a faster number. Whereas I suspect it's going to be a very, very long time before anybody lifts more than a lady lifts more than 7 stones. The next one being 135 kilograms or 298 pounds. Okay, so that's the first man, and I call this one First Women, and I'll have a think about the next episode and trying to make it interesting and sort of charting the sort of lifespan of up till now of the Ardblair Stones and who's done what and things. Of course, if anybody's got any questions or comments, then please write them below, and I will do my best to answer them. But if you did enjoy watching this video, then please like and subscribe, and I will look forward to chatting to you on the next video. Great, thanks a lot. Bye.